Hi, I'm Julia and welcome to Living on the Coast, a show about people, places and their passions. This week, Bowden chats to Robbie Maddison at his South Coast training compound. I visit the Berry Garden Festival, and the Bradman Museum celebrated Sir Don's 100th birthday. We had our cameras there. There is so much to do and see in the Shoalhaven, and no matter what time of the year, there is always something on in Berry. And if you love nature and want to see the area when the flowers are in full bloom, then you really need to check out the Berry Garden Festival. The festival comprises of many beautiful gardens that are open for public viewing, and we're here now in the hub of it all, O'Keefe's Lane. This is the garden of Michael and Hilary, which is set on 5 acres of parkland gardens. So Michael, when did the festivals first get started?
19 years ago. This is the 19th version of the continuous version of the Berry Garden Festival. So been going variously with 7 down to 6 and up to 8 gardens in each year, and all the money that's raised from the gate takings, etc., goes to local charities or medical projects or whatever.
And do you know how much you've raised so far?
I was told just over $400,000 so far.
That's brilliant.
Not bad.
And tell us, why is it important to the community?
This is the gateway to the Shoalhaven, and Berry is right at the northern end of the Shoalhaven, so the local tourism board pay a lot of attention as to how the events in Berry and roundabout go, and this is one of the major fundraisers of the year.
All right, so this is one of your favourite spots. Why do you like this spot?
Partly because of the variety of greenery in the area, and partly, frankly, because we did it. This hedge on my left here was in place when we bought the property.
Right.
But the rest of this, including the acres, is all our doing, and it's a really nice little corner of the garden.
And when did you start getting into gardening?
Obviously we've had gardens before, but we've had 1/4 acre type gardens, not 5 acres like we have here. So the answer would have to be when we bought this place about 6.5 years ago. So
who's this lovely lady here?
This is Chloe. Chloe came with the garden when we bought it. She was already in position, but quite frankly, because of the growth and the vegetation around here, you couldn't see her. So we've opened it up, and Chloe now gets a decent look out down south towards the house.
This is the gorgeous 3-acre property of Bob and Lynn. They have planted over 1,000 trees and shrubs in the last 10 years. Okay, Bob, so this is the creek, and it's one of your favourite spots?
Yes, Julia, this is probably one of the favourite spots on the garden. It's very peaceful down here, and as you can hear the birds and the wildlife, and if you come down here reasonably quiet, there's a family of water dragon that live down in the creek. But
lovely.
If you disturb them, they're usually gone before you see them. But yeah, no, it's just a lovely, peaceful area. And
it is. How many weddings would you hold here a year?
We could hold anything up to about 10 a year. Yeah, we don't hold huge volumes, and we only do the wedding shots. We don't do any other part of the weddings. So
right.
We're happy for the bride and the groom to come along.
Yeah.
And the last one rode in on a horse. That's 2 now we've had ride in on a horse.
Gorgeous. Must be stunning photos in the end.
Yes, yeah. Mostly they send us one, and we have a little memento of it, and yeah, it's been great. But yeah, it's been a really wonderful part of our life.
This is Jean and Fred's property, and I think the highlight feature are these 2 interconnecting ponds, which start here with water runoff from the road. And you said you've been here 8 years.
Yeah.
So a lot of it you've done yourself. What was here before you bought it?
The pond bed was there. The people were smart enough when they built the house to use the beautiful soil that we're lucky enough to have here from the pool to make a pond bed. So, and these mounds on the driveway beds came from that sort of soil, from excess, and so they had planted out a few things, and we've just added a lot more. Our main additive has been all the maples, those New Zealand cabbage palms, some magnolias, Yeah, a few more natives, you know, because the previous owner had a love of natives, and we put in some more.
Have you always been passionate about gardening?
Yeah, we were fairly novice gardeners when we left Sydney, but my interest sort of increased because it was such a quick reward with the good soil here. You put something in that grows quickly, so I was getting that instant, you know, reward.
Yeah.
So we continued on and got some lovely comments from people saying, oh, you're doing a lot with the garden, it's looking lovely, and that encourages you. And
for sure.
Yeah, and everything just grows so quickly, so instant reward.
And how many hours a week would you be here?
Summertime we'd probably spend quite a few more than winter. We would do 2 or 3 probably, but winter time we can actually leave it for weeks at a time and not do anything because there's not the rapid growth of the grass. That's our main work, is the grass cutting.
And have you got different sections that have different type of plants? I know you mentioned you love the maples.
And I spread them right around. No, not particularly. I haven't made sort of like garden rooms, which is very popular at the moment, where there's a theme of something.
Yeah.
It's just been more of the meandering walk and what works basically for my soil.
And what you like, I guess, as well, what you enjoy being amongst.
Yeah, and sometimes what I like doesn't work for this soil because it's a very rich soil, so then I just don't do that, you know. I like something else then, you know, that works well.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you've loved the gardens just as much as I have, and I'd like to thank the owners for showing me around.
Okay, this weekend we've got the first Shoalhaven Dragon Boat Regatta on the river here. We've got 18 sports and 22 sports and community teams. 4 of the sports teams are from as far away as Marimbula and Eden, and all the community teams are from the local area in Nowra. Look, they've all been giving it to each other. We've had some rivalries with the banks. They've been fighting each other on the water. Some of the other community sides have been fighting on the water, so the competition's been fairly strong, and I'm sure they've all enjoyed themselves. The feedback so far has been really good. No, look, the inspiration is we had this beautiful river here, and we thought we could hold an event here. We've been around to other events throughout the state, so we thought why couldn't Nowra hold an event here? And also, as I say, to get the community out and enjoy the sport and enjoy the day.
Like the police team looking very confident.
Dragon boat racing in general, well, in New South Wales we have over 2,000 competitors in the sports cruise. We just held the World Championships in Sydney last year, so it's starting to gain more momentum in the regional areas. Nowra are competing in these major events rather well. We've only been going for 3 years, and at the late state titles we now have the State Women's Masters Champions. So in the 3-year time we've done pretty well. We've also had Australian and New South Wales paddlers in the 3 years as well. Well, next for the club is to improve on the event we've had today, and in November we'll be holding a sports regatta down here for all the teams in New South Wales and Canberra.
Behind this locked gate is a world of mystery and intrigue, where fantasy becomes reality, where boys become men, and where humans learn how to fly. Let's sneak inside and see how the magic is made. Okay, I'm here today with Robbie Maddison, freestyle motocross rider and world record holder for the longest freestyle motocross jump. Welcome to the show, Robbie.
Nice to be here.
Thanks for having us at your compound today. Now, how long have you had this place here for?
I built this place back in about 2002, 2003. Took me about 1.5 years to really kind of, from start to rideable. You know, we did a lot of work here. You know, clearing and just cleaning up pretty much, and then building. You know, we built our first jump by shovel, so that took a long time, but finally got some money together and got a machine up here and built a couple of jumps, so it's cool. Never been down here now. We had this riding area down here for about probably 8 years or 6 years. So I started building this place with a shovel and a chainsaw.
How long have you been riding for?
I started riding dirt bikes when I was 4 years old.
Yep.
And ever since then it's just been a lifelong passion. I've always had a dirt bike, and there was like a 4-year period there where I got really sick and I didn't ride when I was around 18. But you know, after finishing my apprenticeship at the age of 22, I went out and bought another bike and got into life of freestyle motocross, and it's been ever since. I'm now 26 and got more bikes than I've ever had, and having more fun than I've ever had before.
What made you do your first jump? You obviously raced beforehand, but what made you do your first jump?
Yeah, I grew up racing, and one thing I was good at with racing motocross was the jumps. You know, I'd go to the courses, and whenever there was a big jump on the track, I'd always be I was always a kid, so all on 60s and 80s, and I'd be the kid doing the biggest jump on the track pretty much. So it was like kind of in my blood. And then when the freestyle motocross movement kind of came about and the Crusty Demons, I was just inspired, you know, and I originally thought I'd miss that boat. And I think it was just, you know, I didn't have a bike at the time, and I eventually, there was something burning inside, and went and rode a friend's bike one day actually, and I just had so much fun on his bike. I went and bought another one, and went down, there was a place down there in Ulladulla where we were riding down at Kings Point, and me and all my buddies used to get down there, and there was one big double down there, and we used to jump that. And I mean, we'd go down there for a weekend and just hit this one jump over and over again. And I mean, I think it's just, I just loved like the whole movement. You know, I saw the Crusty Demons, I saw the what was going on, and it really got to me. It influenced me a lot, and it made me just devote my life to it.
Yeah. Is there anyone who's mentored you in this passion that you have?
I guess I kind of mentored myself, really. Like I'm doing what I've done, and I mean, my dad and my mum for sure have, you know, they're the only reason I'm really here right now and doing what I've done. You know, they've coached me through my whole life, and they've made me the person I am pretty much. And through doing that and doing my apprenticeship and all that kind of stuff has really made me kind of guy where I've made decisions based on what I've learnt, and really that's the only reason I'm kind of here right now. Is just like they kind of moulded me into the dude I am, and for that I'm stoked.
Have you found support from the local people as well as you've risen up in the world of freestyle motocross? Yeah, most definitely. The people here on the South Coast are probably, you know, they're a different breed, and they're some of the best people I've met. You know, I've travelled to some far places and been around the world a couple of times, maybe more. But yeah, I had to say that. But yeah, we you know, the local people here, like Stono from St George's Basin Hardware Supplies, he actually gave me all the timber to build the foam pit down there, and all the local kids up here, I mean, they come up here and help me to jump the bike into the pit. It takes quite a bit of preparation. You need to fluff the foam up and pull the top off, and there's always a good group of people down here that help me out. There's a lot of local kids down here that ride with me, and their families get involved in it. This is quick, isn't he? Must have been already in his gear when he called me on the phone. This kid lives like a 10-minute drive away. I was on the phone to him. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll be there. I'm not even dressed yet. That was quick.
Yeah, I told you, 10 minutes.
Dude, you're like Superman. So you got ready and rode here in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
The whole public's here kind of behind us, and they love what we do. You know, we're not riding our bikes around the street. We're up here, we're training, we're trying to make something of ourselves, and it's good that the people kind of let us do it. Yeah, it gets a little noisy during the day, but they kind of let it go, and we're not up all night or anything like that. We ride during the day, and then we go on at night. We're here early again the next morning, but yeah, it's good. The local people have been great.
Well, thank you very much for taking some time out of your busy schedule.
No worries,
we really
mate.
Appreciate it.
I'm going to get on the bike and show you guys what I'm actually good at. And that's how it's done, kids. Wear your safety gear.
Well, look, you know, people here are very proud of the community and very proud to be part of Navy. And I've said, you know, Navy is part of Nara and Nara is part of Navy. We grow up with it here and they grow up with us. So, you know, I get back to that point that this is home for us. And so we value the relationship with the community. Our kids grow up here. Mums and dads stay here and are part of the local employment. And as I say, we go away and do our business, and it might be for 6 months or more, but then we'll come back. You know, so we're very proud of that association. People love, whether it's be sporting or scouts or you name it, we're part of this community.
The feeling amongst the organising team for the air show is very, very promising and very, very excited at the moment. A couple of the team members went to the Australian Defence Force air show at Air Force Base Amberley in Queensland 2 weeks ago. We went up there to see how the Air Force managed for their 2-day show. They had a crowd of 90,000 people over the 2 days. They managed very well. We learned a lot of lessons from going there, and we brought a lot of that information back to Nowra and discussed it within our team. And we're pretty confident that everything that our team has done and is planning to do will make our anniversary air day on the 26th of October a spectacular event.
Us personally at the 109s, we'll be demonstrating a sort of like a search and rescue scenario where we'll come in and double lift a person, say an injured mountain biker out the Western Ranges has fallen off, broken both of his legs. We'll send a crewman down, which will probably be me in the strop, and we'll go down, pick him up, and retrieve him that way, just showing the public what our capability is for, say, SAR operations.
The feeling is rushing headlong towards a brick wall, but I am assured by those that have done air shows consistently before us, notably the Air Force team, head of special events, who have been giving us great support. I'm reliably informed that we're on track and we're heading towards a very successful day.
People are going to see a terrific array of aeroplanes and exhibitions and flying demonstrations. There will be Navy helicopters, Air Force jets and transport aeroplanes. The big C-17 multi-engine transport is coming. There will be warbird jets and propeller-driven aeroplanes, and lots of entertainment for the family as well. We've got exhibits, food stalls, displays, and the Air Force police dogs will be performing. The Australian Defence Force recruiting team will be here to talk to the young people about possible careers in the Defence Force, Navy, Army and Air Force. The whole day will be one of great excitement and celebration. That's what we're looking at, having a celebration for our 60th birthday.
The Sea King is part of the Naval Aviation Force that provides a capability to the Navy for, we do troop lifting, we lift equipment, supplies and support for ships at sea and in their operations when they're supporting an operation ashore. So it's a critical asset for us. The Sea King itself, although it's a naval helicopter in support of naval operational roles, obviously has secondary duties that can occur, and so we stand by and we practice for those. And that includes search and rescue, firefighting, flood relief. We've participated in all those things over the last few years.
Well, there's a lot of excitement about that and a lot of pride. We don't get to do this very often, and certainly everybody on the base will be coming in for a working day. They'll all be in uniform, showing what they do. We've got a limited amount of the base open for the public to actually walk around, but we are doing windscreen tours so we can show the public what the base is all about. It's not only about the aircraft here, it's a big part of our base, but there are other aspects as well, and we hope that the public will get a better understanding of that through the day.
How capable? Very capable. We can do double lifts as the winch is rated to about 272 kilos, so obviously the double lift capability is definitely there. We've got advanced avionics up the front there with weather radars, etc., with great navigation aids up there. So yeah, as I said, it's a great training aid, and if it did have to be used in a real case scenario, it'd be well up for the job, but I don't think that'll happen.
This is home for aviation, and so people will come and go to this place, and it's not unusual that people have been here 20 plus years with their families, who stay here, and then the people go away, the sailors and our aviators in particular go away, and will come back. So that link with the community, this place would not survive without it.
The Bradman Museum celebrated Sir Don's 100th birthday. Was this his greatest century? We had our cameras there.
Well, earlier today the bell post at the Bowral Public School was dedicated with a plaque by Ian Craig, the former Australian cricket captain. That was the earliest recollection Don Bradman had of playing cricket, using that bell post as a wicket. It still exists at Bowral Public. The school is very conscious of the fact that Sir Donald was one of their students between 1913 and 1922. And they're coming down here at midday, behind me here on the Oval, to sing our Don Bradman, sing Happy Birthday and cut the 100th birthday cake.
And he's our Don Bradman, and I ask you if he's any good. Our Don Bradman.
Well, this is the town where he learnt to play his cricket. This was also the place that he and his wife considered very dear to his heart. His ashes and Lady Bradman's ashes are scattered on and around the Oval. This is where they felt at home. This is where they met as children. This is where he grew up and learnt to play the game of cricket, which he loved, and at that time was just an anonymous Australian boy growing up in the bush. So despite his fame and success, he looked back on his years in Bowral with great fondness.
Oh, I think it's, unfortunately he's not alive. That's what I think. His 30 centuries were great, but I think, as it says in the museum on the board just over here, that his greatest partnership was with his wife. So that's, I think that's a rather touching statement.
Bradman was an iconic figure in our own history, all through his life really. I mean, his cricketing achievements speak for themselves, but he conducted himself throughout his life with great dignity. He gave back to the game in spades as an administrator and in supporting cricket and cricketers. He believed all his life that he was an ambassador for the game and was unswerving in his duty to that right up until his final years. Cricket had been played by his father, it was played by his uncles, the Watmans. His mother used to bowl left-hand deliveries to him in the back garden. It was part of the way of the Bradman way of life. He will be, in my opinion, the greatest cricketer ever. I don't think we'll ever see anyone like him. In fact, Dennis Compton said he was a cricketer that you would see not once in a lifetime, but once in a lifetime of a game, and I endorse that. So that's why he's significant. But also, the way he carried himself, the way he conducted himself, the way he engaged the Australian public, the way he responded and corresponded with people, always supportive, always helping people develop their love for the game. He believed it was the greatest character builder of all sports, and for that reason urged young Australians to play it as often as they could.
It is just wonderful as an Australian, to a man that gave so much to our country for his cricket, and such a gentleman in himself. It's just wonderful to be here.
It's his 30th century. He scored 29 Test centuries. This is his 30th. And this is why we're celebrating. 100 years he would have been today if he were alive, and it's a very important day for us to mark.
That's it for this week. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Why don't you visit our website www.livingonthecoast.info for more videos and behind the scenes footage. While you're there, sign up to our newsletter to find out more about what's happening on the coast. Let's take a look now at what's coming up next week.
One of the roles we have in the community is providing access to people that wouldn't normally get access to radio.
Yeah, it's definitely a first for wakeboarding, and hopefully this is a start of more cool things to come.
We leave you now with pictures of sunrise in Berry. Good night.